All right, we'll go ahead and call to order at 6 o'clock. And we'll start with the roll call by our stand-in Zoidel.
I apologize if I mispronounce your names. Member Ching. Here. Member De La Cruz. Member De Picalzon. No. Member Dupiak. Thanks. Member Eberhart. Member Fujinaka. Member Gallant.
Here, online.
Member Kawano.
Here.
Member Kirby. Member Kirschman. Member Lee. Member Mitchell. Member Nakamoto. Member Salaza. Member Silva.
Present.
Member Stoiquist. Here. And Chair.
Okay, thank you very much, Zoidel. We do have quorum. Okay, and then next up we have Honolulu Fire Department.
Aloha, everyone. My name is Rando. I'm with the Makiki Fire Station. Just some stats that I'm about to present confirm the number of incidents in NHB's geographical area for the previous month. For more details on the incidents and related mapping information, please visit the Fire Response Search tool on our HFD website at fire.honolulu.gov under the News and Info tab. Should you have any questions, please email hfdnhb@honolulu.gov. So some stats for May of 2026, we had 10 nuisance fires, 1 cooking fire, 13 activated alarms that didn't involve fire, 128 medical emergencies, 2 motor vehicle collision with pedestrians, 2 motor vehicle crash collisions, and 2 hazardous materials incidents. Nuisance fires include rubbish fires outside a structure or vehicle. Just a fire safety tip, it is hurricane season, which runs from June 1st to November 30th in Hawaii. As we enter the season, it is time to check your kit, refresh your supplies, and ensure everyone in your family knows your plan. Visit honolulu.gov/DEM to learn about the risks and hazards, how to be prepared, and what to do in the event of a hurricane when it threatens our islands. Build your 14-day disaster supply kit to include everything your household would need to survive for 2 weeks without utilities or access to outside supplies. Check your insurance policies to determine what, if any, hurricane-related damage is covered by your policy. Standard homeowner and renter's insurance do not include hurricane or flood coverage. Get appropriate supplies to protect windows. They need to be sized for your windows well in advance of a storm. Sign up to get storm alerts direct to your phone at hnlalert.gov. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Randall. Are there any questions for fire? Linda.
Aloha, mahalo for all of your hard work that you do. And the 25th anniversary of 9/11 is coming up. I have a question about if you are aware of any public emu that are available. I know that in Kailua, they used to have the Kailua High School had a fundraiser, and in Thanksgiving for $20, you buy the ticket and you bring your, for Thanksgiving, you bring your wrapped stuff and they do the emu. Do we have anything public like that here in the Makiki area?
Not that we know of.
Okay, mahalo.
Thank you,
thank
Linda.
you for your
Richard, go ahead.
thank you for your service. I got a question. 1437 and a call. 1437 Ernest at ambulance and a fire truck. Do you know what can you give us any information on that?
I don't have specific information on that. We go there quite a bit. It's usually for medical emergencies.
Is it mostly for drug emergencies?
No, not in particular. It's various medical
Various
emergencies.
medical?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead, Robin. You could give us your name, please.
Robin McCurry. Oh, this is really tall. Robin McCurry, and it's for the firemen. How far, if you have a hydrant, how far on either side? And are you guys going out and painting the curbs red for that area?
Thanks, Robin. Believe it's 25 feet either side of the hydrant. We don't go out and paint. That would be the city maintenance. We can make recommendations to them, but and we do not enforce. We can contact HPD and they can enforce for us. Altogether, yes. We'll see a lot of trash piled up in certain areas around the hydrant. We try to do what we can to clear that out. We'll cut grass around it, but enforcement and painting we don't do. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Robin. Are there any further questions? Seeing none, thank you very much. Take care, guys. Next up, we have
I
Honolulu.
have a
Police
question.
Department.
You missed me.
I'm sorry. Claire.
Sorry, Nate. That was my mouse issues. Thank you, Fire, for what you do. I have this brochure that HPD puts out, and it says vehicles are not allowed to park within 10 feet of a fire hydrant. It's a how to not get a parking citation pamphlet. I'll get a copy to Nate, and if anyone wants a copy of it. I don't know where, I forget where they came from, city and county. Anyway, my question, Fire, is there's a whole lot of construction going on Alapai Street for 1617 tower that's being built. And we had a fire alarm situation here across the street. And you folks couldn't access our building through Alapai Street because of the construction vehicles and such. Is there a pre-plan with construction companies to the effect that they're not obstructing the road, and if you need to get in, they need to clear the runway?
Yeah, thank you. There's not a pre-plan that they go through with us typically. Some of the larger projects will have inspectors that walk through and kind of come up with a plan. But as far as vehicles parking, construction vehicles parking in the road, we just work around it as best as we can.
As my husband said, if there's not an acute situation happening, we're not going to stand around arguing with the construction workers. We'll find an alternate way to get in. So it sounds like that's what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, we just find an alternate way in.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Fire. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Claire. Laura Ruby online, we're getting background noise from you, so we'll go ahead and mute you if that's all right. Thank you. Okay, thank you very much, Fire.
Thank you, guys.
Take care, Randall. Okay, next up, HPD.
Hello again. Good evening, Sergeant Brian Morris. So I'm kind of losing my voice, so bear with me. I don't have my hat on. He looks better than I do. I don't want to wear my hat over here. Setting a precedence behind me. And it's 10 feet each side of a fire hydrant, 20 feet total is actually what the law is. It's not 25, 20, 10 each way. Stats for the month of May. Again, we're 1 month back on stats, yeah. Motor vehicle thefts we have in this area, 21 motor vehicle thefts, 11 the previous month. Burglaries, 4. Previous month, 3. Thefts, 19. Previous month's 22. UEMV or car break-ins, and this month 5. Previous month was 4. Assaults, 8 this month, 10 the previous month. Sex assaults, none. Previous month 3. Graffiti, none. Previous month also none. Drugs, no cases this month, 2 the month before. Motor vehicle collisions, it's all over the news. 101 this month, 77 last month. That brings me up to my safety tip. Number 20 fatality today. You guys heard about it, I'm sure. It's all over the news. We're way ahead of last year, but it's still 20 too many. School's out. You can tell by the car wrecks, a lot of people are driving around of all ages. stay off the phones, don't drink and drive, watch both ways, don't speed, and watch for pedestrians, yeah? And then that's all I have. Major Okamoto will answer your question.
Hi, everybody. Major Paul Locomotive with the Home Police Department, District 1. There's some old business from last time. I know we revisited the racing on Tantalus. That's just a recurring problem. We've been having our patrol officers at night go and do regular patrols there. We did hear back that it's improved. Maybe somebody that's online or online now can comment on that. But we heard that it's a little bit better. It's very difficult for us to get speeding up there just because of the distances involved and where we have to set up to conduct enforcement via shooting laser. But we did get 2 citations over the last 2 months over there for loud muffler. And we'll continue to do enforcement in that area. I know somebody brought up the 1617 Alapai with the structural contracting of the construction going on over there. We did go back over there to talk to them, and also we issued 1 citation. There was a complaint about Keomoku and Leloki. Also, same thing, parking due to construction. We gave 6 citations over there. And also another recurring problem is the Makiki streams. I've been tasking our officers to make regular checks there. Over the past 2 months, they've conducted 205 checks. So that's just to give you an idea that we are making regular checks. We can't be there all the time, so you might be seeing people going in and out, but we are conducting the checks. And I think that's it from last month.
Thank you very much, Major. Are there any questions from board members for Richard?
Yeah, I had brought this up last month. Iolani and Magellan, they have no parking signs all the way up and down the street on both sides, and that there's tons of illegal parked cars, and there's a couple of people living in their cars on the streets. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, Iolani Magellan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll send people out there and do enforcement. Iolani Magellan. Okay.
Thank you, Richard. Okay, Kimberly, and then I'll recognize Czech after.
All right. Hi, I just want to thank HPD for the updated information in terms of monitoring the streams here in Makiki. I really appreciate your service and your attention to any calls that kind of come through, especially on Makiki Street. So thank you for that. And then the next thing I just wanted to mention was about the sobriety check that they recently had on the overpass. Like I think it was it last weekend? HPD did a sobriety check. Do you recall that? Yeah.
I don't know specifically, but we do have lots of projects going on.
So they did that. I mean, that's the first time that I've seen that in the neighborhood, which is fine. I think that's great. I just have a little bit of feedback, like the aftermath the next day, there was a lot of rubbish on the road, and there were a lot of things that were large items that I think could get into streams and kind of clog things. So I was just curious to know if at the end of such an event, or like the following day, if someone comes by to clean those areas up, because it was pretty bad. I actually took some photos. I don't have them here with me right now, but I do have photos if you'd like to see them, just to kind of give people a heads up.
Are you talking about the residue left by the flares?
Yeah, the residue. Yeah, there was a lot of
Okay.
residue.
Yeah, no
left on the
problem.
roads.
We'll
Yeah,
have
so
a
I
guy
just
sweep
an
up afterwards.
FYI. Yeah, just
Yep.
an FYI for you guys. But I appreciate your service. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. We'll have them sweep up.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Kimberly. Chuck.
Yeah, Major, I just wanted to commend you and your team for all the improvements that we've been seeing in the last 2 or 3 months. I walked the neighborhood a lot, and just today I walked, and the thing about the streams, I noticed how clean they were. And also the other thing that I noticed a lot is the homeless have not been as visible as they once were. So, kudos to you and your team for doing that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much for the support. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Chuck. Claire.
Thank you, Chair. Major, I want to thank you folks for your morning rounds on Alapai Street. You come through about 7-ish in the morning. Someone comes up it's a dead end street, kind of hard to miss him. So in my JPO duties of notifying you of problems, I know that somebody parked their car in their 3 reserved stalls, their permitted stalls one day, and they wanted it ticketed and towed, but their signage wasn't up. They had neglected to put up their no parking permit horses on the street. So I certainly hope that person wasn't ticketed because they had no notification of the reserved parking. It is an ongoing problem. They're finishing the exterior of that construction. Now all the tradespeople are going to be rolling in to do the interior, and it's going to be parking mayhem. As you know, that intersection is impossible to park. So I'll appreciate your continued patrols and observations and citations as needed. Thank you, Major. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Claire. And seeing no further questions, I have my oh, Robin.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
The question is, I have a friend that lives on close to Prospect and Magazine Street, and who do I speak to get an island put in there? Because that would slow down the traffic. It would allow crosswalks to happen so people could get there safely. I mean, you could almost put a whole house in between that intersection. And I think there's been at least 6 or 7 cars that have plowed into the one on Magazine and Prospect. So how can I get that passed and approved?
Yeah, that would have to be, I think, a DTS or a DOT sort of question, depending on who owns the street. So if it's a city, it would be Department of Transportation Services, probably.
Thank you, Robin. Oh, Amanda.
Hi, thank you, Robin, for bringing that up because I also live right on that corner. Me and 911 are like that whenever I hear an accident. But I'd love to partner with you on this. Who do we contact with HPD? Because I'm sure DTS is going to want to see numerics on this and data about the accidents. How can we get specifics about like how many accidents have happened at Prospect and Magazine? I would say within the last year. We had that really gnarly one car that flipped and hit the retaining wall and was 5 feet away from someone's house. So, and that was like 2 weeks ago. But who could we reach out to for that specific data?
Yeah, I think that would be us. So I think we can work with DTS to provide with those statistics regarding the collisions. I think that'd be fairly easy for us to look up.
Okay.
So you start the conversation with DTS, and yeah, we can readily provide that information.
Great. Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Amanda. Okay, and I have a question. So on the other side of Punchbowl, there's a huge police operation to catch a murder suspect and also his brother who happened to have a warrant out for his arrest. And I had a question about to clarify whether or not the brother hopped into the canals over there and was actually able to use the canals to run a good ways away before getting caught.
Yeah, we really can't talk too much about the case. I'm actually unfamiliar, but the lieutenant was actually there, and maybe he can shed some information.
The suspect used the canals to get away from us, but he's eventually caught down the way by Waikaluda Stream. But canals are just there. I mean, people will see an opportunity to run, they'll go to the canals to run, try to get away.
Yep, thank you very much. I just wanted to get that clarification. After all, our neighborhood are crisscrossed with canals as well. So, yes, Nancy.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'm behind the pole over here. So, sorry, I can't see over there. Who did the graffiti? I don't know if anyone's noticed, but there's at 1234 South King Street, they just finished demolishing, or they are finished demolishing that building. I'm the caretaker. I help the owners out. And so there are 3 buildings that got hit. The fire department, Union Building got hit by a lot of graffiti. A lot of it isn't reported because it is on private property or considered private property. So the fire department got hit. Huge bit of graffiti in the back of the building. as well as the medical building behind that building that's getting demolished. It's a very big problem. We've gotten hit. I keep covering it, and I've covered my neighbors' buildings for them, and I'm going to cover the fire departments, the back of the fire department, because I've got that color paint. So it's private, a lot of it, but we're getting hit bad. And the one, if you go on South King Street, it's neon. So at night it glows, that paint glows, and it's huge. It's taller than me. And then Major Okamoto, I'm sure you got my message about Friday.
Yeah, yes, we know about Friday.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. And great job, everybody.
Thank you very much, Nancy.
Pardon me, Nancy, I can't see you. That pole, they gotta move that pole. The graffiti was when? Especially the fire station, when was that? Because they would have called.
Saturday at 11:48.
This Saturday. To be reported next month, will be on the next month's stats. I see graffiti all over Makiki. I'm not saying it's not happening. These are reported calls. If it's private property, we can't just go and make a case for the building or, you know what I mean? They have, somebody has to call and we'll document it, of course.
Right, and that's why
HFD, I'm sure they will call. I mean, it's city, they're gonna call. They already did, will be in next month's stats, yeah.
Right, and that's why I did specify that because it's on private property, you know, there's not much you can do.
But the building managers,
Or
whoever
if they catch,
they
you know,
can call.
yeah.
We keep, I'm sure Major Way could tell you, we keep a log as to what kind of graffiti, what's written, what color. You know, they can, I know in other districts of work, we keep a log. They can, hey, maybe this looks like the one over there. You can try and put it together. Maybe you can find somebody who's doing it, can tie them into it, but we need the calls first.
Well, and specifically if we can see their faces, because obviously they're covered most of the time.
Yeah.
And we didn't get a good shot of this person's face, so.
Let's start with the reporting first, then we'll work on getting their faces.
Yeah.
Okay.
But thank you.
Okay. Okay, we'll go ahead and entertain one more question.
Robin McCrary.
Yes, Robin, thank you.
So I'm not sure, I'm working with the police officer, Sharon, and also Melissa for setting up a neighborhood watch. And I have the Crossfire Ministry, the gentlemen and ladies there would like to form that. Do I need your permission? Do I need your permission?
So those are administered through our district's community policing team. So I could definitely introduce you to our community policing team, Sergeant, and yeah, they could easily set something up for you.
And she's sending me.
Okay, great. Yep. Then just work. I think anyone can set up one of those neighborhood walks. Yep.
Okay, thank you very much, Robin.
Nathan, I had a question before we end with the police, actually.
Okay, yeah, we'll
Just really
take yours and then
Okay,
move on.
just more of
Thank
a
you.
comment around the canal access. After hearing the chair mention about the canal and some things that have been going on. There was also recently, well, in March, there was like a murder in the canals on the Makiki side. And I'm just wondering, are there thoughts about ways to mitigate access to the canals? I know there's a lot of canals. I know there's one particularly on Makiki Street and it has the rungs where you can actually step down to go into the canal. Is there a way to kind of think about ways to, I guess, lessen the opportunities for people to be going into the canals and congregating in there? Or is that something folks have thought about?
As far as the police is concerned, if you see any damage to any of the fencing or any of the obstructions that prohibit access to those areas, please report that, and we'll generate the proper report, and we'll make sure that they're repaired in an orderly fashion. We don't do the repairs, obviously. I think that's DFM, maybe. I don't know. Department of Facility Maintenance, maybe.
But I still think there's points where people can access, even if there's a fence like on the sidewalk, they can just kind of go on the side and then there's rungs that they can actually walk down, I guess is what I'm talking about, to get into the canal. And I'm just curious, I mean, I think it's obviously an issue of concern given the multiple things that have happened recently involving the canals.
Yep.
And I just
I'm
wondered
not trying to
what
pass
your
the buck,
thoughts
but
were. Yeah.
I'm not trying to pass the book, but I think that's
No, yeah.
it's not something for the police.
Okay.
It's not something that we can really control.
Okay, maybe we can talk about it more as a neighborhood board. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Kimberly, and thank you very much, Major. If anyone has any other issues for the police, please be sure to take it up outside the neighborhood board meeting. This is a very busy agenda. Sorry, Nancy. Okay, moving on to Board of Water Supply. And yeah, we have quite a bit. So thank you very much for making it here.
Yeah, you're welcome. Good evening. I'm Stephen Nordstrom from the Board of Water Supply. And good evening, Chair and members. And for the monthly announcement for the Makiki Neighborhood Board, we had one main break on May 27th. It was an 8-inch break at 1400 Pensacola Street. And our monthly announcement this evening is to remind you about our semi-annual water quality report. You know, each year the Board of Water Supply conducts thousands of tests on the water sources and distribution system to ensure that municipal water meets or exceeds all federal and state drinking water standards. And testing results are shared with our customers via semi-annual water quality reports. Now, the first report comes out in July. Second one will be sent out in December. You can get that report online as well, boardofwatersupply.com/WQR. And you can also find additional water quality information there, including, don't get too excited about this, but we have a new large print booklet that describes the origin of your water and substances listed in your report. And if you have more questions, you can always contact our communications office at 808-748-5041. And last month, Michelle Harmon was here. She did take a bunch of questions that the board had, and I'm pleased to introduce Kathleen Pahinui. She is our public information officer. She will go over those responses.
Okay, yeah. I don't think we have that here.
Aloha. Thank you very much, everybody. First of all, I want to say we deeply apologize. We know our project has been a horrible inconvenience to this community, and we do appreciate your patience for putting up with us for as long as you have. So I'm here tonight to answer any questions that you may have about it. We also have with us tonight the head of our engineering inspection department, Sandy Naho'opi'i Sung. And between the two of us, we hope we can answer all of your questions. So thank you very much. So first of all, we have this lovely map that Sandy and her team put together. And I'm like to say that this is all you have left. We're 60% done. So that's good news. At least we're 60% more than half. So unfortunately, though, this is probably the ugliest part of it because we're coming up underneath the freeway at Kinau Street. So we do understand that is going to be unpleasant and it's going to make life difficult for everybody. And again, we do apologize for that. First question was how far along we are, 60% POW, and the black is what we have left. Reservoir was canceled. We spent, this was going back, I think, to 2018, Senator. And we met with the community over there and we ended up canceling the project because it just didn't make sense anymore. The project should have been built back at the beginning of the early 90s and it never was for whatever reason. I can't tell you what that reason was, but it wasn't built and conditions have changed, times have changed, and it no longer made sense to put it in that community in that specific location. We currently do not have a plan to put in another reservoir. As you all know very well, the community's grown up, and so our ability to put in a structure of that size is very limited because of space considerations. However, the pipe, we did go ahead with the pipe because it was really important that we have an alternate water supply. The current pipe that's in place started going in 1931. And the last segments that we were able to ascertain were in 1974. So that pipe is anywhere from almost 100 years old to a little about 50 years old. It's cast iron, which is great. Cast iron was a wonderful metal. It's lasted, but at some point it's going to fail. And if it does, we don't want to leave the people uphill without any water supply. So this will allow us at some point, not hopefully give you guys some peace and rest, before we start turning it over. But then we now have the ability to transfer from one main to another at some point in the future. And you will have a steady, reliable source of water. So that's why we went ahead and put the main in regardless, even though we didn't put in the reservoir. Let's see, let's see, the steel plates on Davenport Street. We did go down and inspect the plates on June 4th, 2026. The plates were found to be secure with asphalt cold patch installed along the edges. During the inspection, vehicles were observed driving over the plates. The plates did not appear to move and no excessive noise was heard at the time. The asphalt patching along the plates' edges also remained secure. However, we will continue to monitor, and I will give you my number. It's 808-292-4672. Now that is my personal work cell number. Please do not call me at 3 a.m. I would appreciate it. But if you do have a problem with plates in the road, they're making a noise, please contact me and I'll talk with Sandy, and her and her team do an absolutely stellar job of getting on top of these issues. So we want to make sure that it's safe, because I understand it was moving and that's not a safe thing. So we do apologize for that as well. And then on the traffic, there was traffic from Pensacola down to Wilder near the Makiki-Banyan, and blocking space on Luna Lilo. And sorry, here, let me. And do we need that much space? BWS understands the community's concerns regarding traffic impacts in the Pensacola and Luna Lilo Street area. For the project, the contractor is making every effort to keep the work area and road closures as limited as possible while still allowing the work to be completed safely and properly. The closure area is needed to protect workers, motorists, and pedestrians, and we will continue monitoring. We have to follow OSHA laws, and so I'm sure there's a certain amount of space we must make available to make sure that the workers are being protected from the traffic and things like that. But again, if you see something, give me a call and we will see what we can do to try and ameliorate that situation for you as quickly as possible. I have gotten calls from Travis over at the Hawaii Biking League, and so we're working with him to ensure that at least there's some space for bike riders to get through there. So we will continue doing the best we can for our community. The next thing I wanted to share with you to ensure that you have, so first of all, I know this is really hard to see. I apologize, but this is our entire schedule for the project. But don't worry, we have a way that you can view it more clearly. So if you go to Board of Water Supply, go to News and Events, you'll see construction projects at that drop-down menu right at the top. So scroll down to the map, Stephen. So you'll come to this little map. You see there's a little square in the corner. You hit that square. And you can see all of the construction projects across the island of Oahu. So he's going to zoom in right now on the ones that we're interested in. Okay, there we go. And if you click on the little guy that's digging there, you will then, that menu will pop up and it will give you updated information on the project. And can you go back out? Yeah, and then scroll down, please. And so right under the map, right at the top, so you don't have to go too far, we have the project that we're talking about right now. Please hit the read more. And scroll down. And there is that lovely chart. Hit the chart, please. And it comes into a PDF. And you will be able to enlarge it so you can read it. So don't feel that you have to read this thing. You can go in and you can enlarge it and take a look at it. So that kind of gives you a list of the various tasks that pretty much from the beginning of the project to the end. And again, I want to thank Sandy and her team for pulling that and making that available for tonight's meeting. I do want to say it's subject to change. One of the problems we have had with this project is that every time our contractor, who's the great people, they really trying to do their best, they get in underneath the ground and open it up, we've run into issues. We've run into lines that aren't supposed to be there. And it's not just our utility, it's other utilities. We do something called toning, And we bring out all the utilities, and so you'll see all the different color marks on the on a street or something or in the sidewalk. It's called toning, and that tells us where all of the other utilities are located. But that's not always the case, unfortunately. This is an older part of town. Things have changed. And back in the day, they didn't always keep really the best records. And neither did we. We find our own stuff sometimes when we like, oh yeah, the pipe's supposed to be here. And it's like 3 feet over. But we have things now are all computerized. We have GIS systems. And when we go now, we are able to update things very quickly and make sure that things are correct. So part of the problem we've had is we get in there and we find things are not where they're supposed to be, or we find things that we didn't expect to find. And the contractor has been wonderful to work with. They've been trying to be solution oriented. Unfortunately, when we do run into things that sometimes mean we have to stop working for a little bit and figure out what that solution is, which unfortunately delays things. Again, we do apologize. We are hoping as we get down into this section, things will go a little bit more smoothly, but we do apologize. I'm ready for any questions.
Thank you very much for the very thorough presentation. Well, we'll go ahead and start with Amanda.
Hi, thank you so much.
Thank
Just
you.
a quick question. Do we have an idea, left side, right side? What do the closures look like as we head into this next section? What
Sandy?
side should I avoid? Thank you.
General area.
If I remember correctly, the plans show the line to be on this side. What is this? Waikiki side? Yeah.
But please don't get mad at us if we do the best we can. Thank you.
Okay, are there any further questions? Seeing none, thank you very much for the report.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Board and community. We appreciate you.
Okay, next up, we're going into the elected official reports, starting with Mayor Rick Blangiardi's representative Megan Johnson.
Hi, good evening. Megan Johnson on behalf of Mayor Blangiardi. In the interest of time, a written report with responses to the questions posed at the May meeting was submitted to Chair Char. If anyone has any questions, please let me know. And I also dropped a link to Mayor's June newsletter in the chat. And one announcement that I wanted to make, and I also have a link to this in the chat as well, is the Mayor's Office of Climate Change, Sustainability, and Resiliency has released a draft of the first ever Oahu Food Systems Plan, a strategic implementation focused action plan that defines the city's role in Oahu's food system over the next 5 years. It outlines over 70 actions the city can take to improve how food is produced, distributed, accessed, and disposed of while supporting the health of our communities, economy, and environment. Please share your mana'o about the draft plan by June 30th, 2026, and you can review the plan and submit comments by visiting www.resilientoahu.org/food systems plan. And again, there's a link to that in the chat, and there's also a link to that plan in Mayor's newsletter. And if anyone has any comments or questions, I'm happy to take them.
Thank you very much, Megan, for the report. Are there any questions for the mayor's representative? Seeing none, would we be able to get DTS to show up to one of our future meetings to talk about our myriad issues?
It is my understanding that I thought that a representative was attending this meeting. They may be on.
We're here.
virtual. Oh, here we go.
Perfect. Thank you
Hi,
very
Renee.
much.
This is Renee and
All right.
Kelly Akasaki is with me tonight too.
Thank you,
Perfect,
Renee,
perfect.
Kelly.
Yep, no problem.
Okay, any further questions?
I'll talk about this. Yeah, my
Richard?
name is Richard Ching. There is a large amount of wild pigs available for eating. I wonder if that's part of the mayor's plan. because they're beating up the environment. A lot of the trails that I'm a scoutmaster, so we go hiking a lot, and there's a lot of trails that are damaged. And I see a lot of them, and these pigs they proliferate, like they have like 6 to 8 babies every 6 months. So you can see how many pigs are available for I mean, that's why they were put out there as a food source. But now it's like out of control. And I've been part of a wildlife control permit, and we used to snare. So snare the leg, not the neck. So we have, wouldn't damage them too badly. But anyway, I just wanted to bring that up for the mayor to see if he wants to pursue that avenue for wildlife control. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment, and yes, I'd be happy to submit that comment to the mayor's office.
Thank you very much, Richard. Okay, seeing no further questions, thank you very much, Megan.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Councilmember Scott Nishimoto's office. Taylor?
Hi, Chair Char. This is Taylor from Councilmember Nishimoto's office. As we're wrapping up the budget, Councilmember Nishimoto sends his regards, and we're very excited to share that DPR is slated to begin construction for the Makiki Community Gardens fence this upcoming Monday. So it's been a really long journey, and we really appreciate everyone's patience on this matter. There's been a little bit of back and forth, but ultimately, Councilmember Nishimoto, with the mayor's office, has been able to secure the funding to begin construction. So we're very excited to, see how that process goes on. So if anything comes up during that process, please bring any concerns up with us so that we can relay it to DPR. Otherwise, I'm happy to take any questions back to my boss.
Thank you very much, Taylor. Are there any questions for Scott Nishimoto's office? Chuck.
Yeah, Taylor, I just wanted to ask you if you could commend Councilman Nishimoto for his efforts in that fencing project. I know he was very instrumental in moving it along, so thank you.
Yes, no, thank you, Chuck. I will let him know for sure. It's definitely something top of mind for him, and we were able to work with DPR, so thank you.
Okay, are there any further questions? Seeing none, thank you very much, Taylor.
Thank you, Chair.
Next up is Councilmember Tyler DeSantos Tam's office. Robin? I think said she can't make it. Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on to Governor Josh Green's representative, Russell Payne. Did he say?
I am here, Chair. Sorry, let me get organized here. Hi, good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me. I did put the governor's newsletter in the chat room, a link there. So please go ahead and read that at your leisure. Just a couple updates for you. In the last meeting, there was a question regarding the Makiki Cemetery. I had mentioned that the state would be doing some surveying work for the property lines. And the question came up regarding, would that information be made available to the public? And the answer is yes. Eventually, once all of the 9 state cemeteries have been surveyed and the property lines have been analyzed, the Department of Accounting and General Services will make that information public. I don't have a timeline for that, but at least we know it will be made public. And the surveying, the aerial surveying, drone surveying for Makiki Cemetery happened earlier this month. So thank you to the community for your patience there. I did want to bring an update on the H1 resurfacing project that's getting underway. And this is the area from, as I mentioned last month, from the Miller Street pedestrian overpass all the way to the Kapiolani Boulevard or Kapiolani interchange. I know both sides of the freeway were repaved a couple of years ago. This is a continuation of that project, and crews are going in and making additional repairs to things like guardrails, the lights, the striping, and things like that. So starting Sunday, this coming Sunday, June 21st, work will begin near the Kinao Street off-ramp. There will be one single lane closure on the right side, starting at around 8:30 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. Starting Sunday. During this time, the Kinao Street off-ramp going eastbound will be closed. Motorists will be detoured via the Punchbowl Street off-ramp to Lusitana Street, where they will turn onto South Vineyard Boulevard to access Kinao Street. And I'll put a link to a news release that we put out earlier this month, and it includes a detour map. Now, the closures are going to take place nightly, again, from 8:30 p.m. to 4:30 a.m., Sunday through Thursday, so that's every night. They'll take a break on weekends and holidays. We expect this portion of the work to take maybe 2 weeks or so. And then when that's completed, they're going to be doing some guardrail improvements and replacements. And once that's completed, they'll move to the next section and head eastbound on the H1 until they get to Kapiolani interchange. Once that happens, they'll turn around and they'll come westbound. As we schedule those closures and repairs, we will put notices out to the public via the media, as well as via the Hawaii Department of Transportation social media platforms. And of course, I'll try to keep this board updated as best as possible. And that is what I have. I'll take any questions, Chair.
Okay, thank you very much, Russell. Do we have any questions for the governor's representative? Seeing none, thank you very much, Russell.
Thank you.
Next up, we have State Senator Carol Fukunaga's office. Oh, good to see you, Carol.
Aloha, neighborhood board members. Now that summer is here, I just wanted to come in person and share the latest issue of our post-session newsletter. This session, I chaired the Public Safety and Military Affairs Committee. So with a lot of the Kona low storms that we've experienced, we focused a lot of attention on emergency preparedness. And so last night, thank you for joining us, Chair Char. We had an emergency prep community forum in Manoa that was very well attended. It kind of exceeded our wildest expectations. So we are going to be doing a lot of follow-up. And in the Makiki Punch Bowl area, I did want to let everyone know that we will be conducting a town meeting on condo insurance, probably in the August timeframe. So during next month's neighborhood board meeting, I hope to have more details as to where and when that'll be held. And other than that, I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Senator. Are there any questions for Senator Fukunaga? Seeing none, thank you very much. Next up, we have Representative Della Albaladi's office. Seeing none, Representative Kim Koko Iwamoto's office.
Chair, can you hear me?
Yes, hello, Kate.
Hi. Hi, Chair. Hello, board. Good to see you all. Really quick report. We have the complete list of CIP and GAA grants granted to District 25. Couple interesting highlights I think you guys would appreciate. Let me see. Big Brothers Big Sisters got 105K in GIA grants. The legal clinic got 100K. The Hawaii Theater Center got 80K. The Honolulu Museum of Art got 100K. Good news all around. I am here for any questions.
Thank you very much for the report, Kate. Are there any questions for Kim Coco's office? Seeing none, thank you very much, Kate.
Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
Have a good night. Next up, we have Representative Ikaiko Old's office.
Hi, can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Jeanette. I'm with Representative Old's office. We just dropped our May newsletter link. Our June newsletter will be up next week, but other than that, we have no major updates. But I'm also very happy to take down any questions for my boss as well.
Thank you very much, Jeanette. Are there any questions for Representative Ikaiko Old's office? Seeing none, thank you very much, Jeanette.
Thank you.
Next up, we have. Oh, yeah. Next up, we have Representative Andrew Garrett. Is he online? Okay. He let me know that he will be late, but is attempting to attend. So we'll circle back if he is able to make it. Next up, we have community concerns from residents, limited to 3 minutes each. Are there any community concerns? If you could give us your name, please.
Hello, my name is Tanya. Good evening. Thank you for your time. I recently was made aware of like a neighborhood board group on Facebook. And after reviewing some of the posts on there, I don't know if you guys are members of it, but there are a lot of different types of posts, and they generally are good because they're informational, letting people know about certain concerns and cautionary things and whatnot they see in the community. It's a great way to disseminate information, but I do find that it can teeter into misinformation as well. I find that there's a lot of conclusory statements from a lot of concerned residents, and I just find that it's a little bit harmful for the community as a whole if it's not monitored a bit. And you know, everybody's got a lot of things on their plate, and I'm not asking for policing whatsoever, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware that that Facebook group does exist, and that there are a lot of discussions about things that do happen in the community, some that are brought onto the agenda here even today. And I just find that some of the language is just legally incorrect. As an attorney, I understand what the limitations are with regards to disseminating legal advice and whatnot. And I find that some individuals and some members on the Facebook group do disseminate it in a way that's not careful. And I think that just like creates more problems and misunderstanding. So not that it's an action item. I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware that there are different community boards that members of the community and maybe members of this board are members of, and just a caution. I'm not trying to say that person was wrong, and I'm not trying to police anybody. You know, everybody's got freedom of speech and they can express their concerns, but the spread of misinformation is really unhelpful for everybody involved. So that's all.
Yep. Thank you very much. Okay. Next. Oh.
Hi, my name is Sebe Ochoa, and this is Danielle. I'm here before you because on April 9, 2026, a couple months ago, my son, Cruz Eddie Ochoa Jr., got hit and he passed away at Kewalu. The reason why I stand here before you is to seek ways to make a change in that street or in that area, because as we were there the following day to see where it was, we saw that there's no signs, there's no traffic signs, there's no bumpers, there's no anything, and any indication of speed limit or whatsoever that would say slow down. And that street, this is right after coming off from the freeway. And that is a concern because I wouldn't want anything like this to happen to another family. This precious son of mine has been taken away because of something like that. I don't know what the reason is, But for us, we think that if we have to come and share with you to see if there's any other ways that we can better this situation, that no one would go through this again. That's why we are here before you. You can share about the others.
So as Sepe mentioned, the accident happened on Kiwalo Street where we lived, and it was a hit and run. The driver did not stop. And like we said, you know, the biggest thing out of this is hoping that it doesn't happen to anyone else. So we do have a few call to actions. I'm not too sure how we go about that today, but I do know that we want to put through a few requests for speed humps on both Kiwalo and Liho Liho, either at the beginning of the street, coming right off the freeway, or towards the end of the street, because it is a residential area. It is highly busy and cars don't slow down, and you can't bring back crews. We can't have them back, but we just hope that this doesn't happen to anyone else. So there's a few things that we would like to request. The speed humps are one. A camera either on the corner by the marketplace over there, one that would be accessible if we did need it for any accidents or any criminal activity. That is a very busy area too. I live there and I know that there's a lot of police activity. There's a lot of criminal activity that happens over there. So a camera would be helpful. Speed limit signs. There's no speed limit signs on that street whatsoever, but we know for a fact that people are speeding. There's a tree coming off or right at the end of the freeway there when you come onto Kiwalo, and it is very overgrown and you can't see any sign. There's a pedestrian walking sign there, but you can't even make it out because the tree is so overgrown. And any yield signs that would help just to slow down cars and traffic coming off of the freeway. Sorry, I'm very emotional and I might come off as a little aggressive right now, but it's a very frustrating manner, and it's very hard for us to have to deal with this and to have to show up and ask for this. But we hope that it touches someone and it calls for some kind of community support and some action.
Just to let you guys know, we have not found also that person that did this. So this is really difficult. So thank you. Need your help.
Thank you very much. Yes, we will be discussing this later on, and DTS is here.
Me?
Yes.
Hi, did you say Kiwalo and Lunalilo? Right on the freeway ramp? Sorry, I'm behind the thing.
Yeah, on Kiwalo and Liho Liho. So coming right off the freeway.
Okay, so right there on the corner
Are you asking
where the incident,
where the accident happened? The accident happened right in the middle of, I would say coming right off the freeway and Wilder. So right in the middle of the street.
oh, on Wilder, but
It's before Wilder. So the car was coming off of the freeway on Kiwalo Street is our understanding. And he was hit right in between, like the freeway and Wilder.
and the
There's a memorial there.
Yeah.
and the signs that you're talking about are on Wilder side.
There are
You
no
could use the mic, Nancy.
there are no speed limit signs, but there are some like pedestrian walking signs at the beginning of the street, right off the freeway, but you can't really see that because of the overgrowth on the tree. And there are no speed limit signs at all.
And just from the first day that we went to investigate this or to see where it would happen, just the first hour we were there, all these cars were just zooming and zooming and zooming. And my husband and the other friends were trying to like instigate, like, you're too fast, slow down. And I was worried that they might get hit too. It's just really a lot of cars are just going fast because they're coming out from the freeway and still in the momentum of being fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very sad to hear about your loss, and thank you for sharing that with us. I'm going to make a note about the intersections. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Ochoas. Okay. Next. Yes, if you could give us your name, please.
Okay. I'm crying deep in my heart because I heard, loss of our son. So I'm so sorry to hear that. Thank you for giving me the chance to share my concern. I wrote a note about my concerns because of my recent experience. I'm still feeling nervous and worried. I hope you'll understand when I read it. I usually do not report issues like this. However, I must speak up today about safety problems at Makiki Park and the community garden. This includes safety for people and animals such as dogs, cats, chickens, and birds. I have had serious problems with a few dogs in the park. Sometime last year, my 10-pound dog was attacked. He's friendly, he's very friendly dog, but he's afraid of large dogs. In one instant, a large dog grabbed his neck and shook him back and forth a few times. Many people on the spot thought my dog had died. Owner finally stopped his dog just in time. So one of the garden members on the spot called the park admin office and the staff called the police. When the police came, he asked me what I wanted. So I said, I only wanted dogs to be on leashes and under control. He talked to the doggy owner, but he never followed the guidance for the past year. This was a very scary experience for my dog and me. Since then, my dog has been afraid to walk in the park. Situation did not improve. Some dog owners still let their dogs off leash. Actually, most dogs. The same guy with the dog even asked me, talk to the other doggy owners. No dogs are on leash. This happens all the time. I always carry my dog, which I thought was a safe way to protect my dog, but I was wrong. Last Friday around 7 p.m., I was walking near the garden with my dog in my arms. He was in my arms when another large dog ran up and jumped on us. I screamed a few times, but the owner tried to stop the dog but could not control it. I asked her to hold the dog, but she couldn't because to me, the dog is stronger than the owner. After this, my dog became even more afraid and no longer wants to come to the garden. This week, the same black dog came into my garden space and looked inside, which made me more worried. Because that doggy knows my garden plot, doggy knows around that area a lot of chickens, cats, and dogs. My dog. Doggy knows my plot. The big dog knows my plot, knows me, and know my dog. So I love animals and strongly support animal rights, but I'm very concerned that a serious incident could happen soon. It could hurt either people or animals. Now I'm scared of dogs, even though I have dogs. There are many young children playing in the park. For everyone's safe, including people and animals, I hope all dogs are kept on leashes and under their owner's control. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. Okay, next I see Laura Ruby.
Hello, can you hear me okay? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, okay, thank you. First of all, I'm very saddened by the loss of the woman, the young man who was lost. I have been advocating for DTS to put in speed bumps and raised crosswalks at all schools. And we have very narrow streets from our many older communities, and they should all be put in there because lots of people are using them to race through. But what I wanted to speak about today is to ask one of you people or more of you people on the neighborhood board to place this resolution on the next agenda. It's a larger picture item, but I think you might find it very interesting and helpful for yourselves. It's called Resolution for an Inexpensive, Quickly Realized Conveyance Across the Alawai Canal. That is a ferry or ferries. And it would operate, you would, first of all, think about the scenic views that you would see from the waterway as you look at the Ko'olaus or Diamond Head, whatever. It's a very open space. It's would be run just like the bus. It's about the size of a bus, and it would be pedestrians and bicycles only. This would cut out mopeds coursing through your neighborhood. They're allowed and not following the speed rules. And it would could be used to be under written with the whole card, very simply, just like the bus. And it would, there'd be safety railings and everything. It's done in many, many different communities. And we could certainly have them there as conduits that would go to and from Waikiki. Think about people who actually work in Waikiki and might find that this is a very useful thing. I would, the docking would be very simple. We already have docks up and down the canal that are used by the paddlers, and just simple modification to some of the docks would make it very easy for crossing. You would have ramps, just like on the bus, the ramps that comes down, so it'd be very ADA compliant. The wheelchairs and other handicapped equipment could easily go on and off. And I would really like somebody that would support it's going on the next agenda, and I can show a few pictures and talk a little bit more. I don't want to take more of the time right now, but is there somebody, it's not a discussion time now, but is there somebody on the board that would like to support this for the next agenda meeting? Chairman Jar, would you be able to?
I mean, as you've seen, we have an incredibly packed agenda. So that's why I recommended via email that we'll possibly be able to take up your resolution in August.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
And then
thank you very
I
much.
believe, am I correct that somebody initially offers it to the board at that time? Then? Or
I'm
you,
sorry?
Or you do. Either you or one of the board members initially offers it when it comes, it's on the agenda, and then one of the board members comes and says, now we're going to talk about this. And then I take the presentation with the PowerPoint and show you.
No, it has not been put on the agenda.
Okay. Okay. I'm requesting and hope that it will be then.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Okay, are there any further community concerns? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move on to board business and presentations. Starting with the approval of written summary for video record, Thursday, May 21st, 2026. Are there any corrections? Okay, seeing none, we have our minutes. Okay, moving on to the GROW presentation by CNC Refuse Division.
Aloha kako. Thank you to the chair and the board members and the community at large. We really appreciate this opportunity. My name is Lena Alamahi. I'm the acting recycling branch chief for the city and county of Honolulu. And I'm gonna kind of do an update of what's going on or will be future coming on for the GROW program. So sorry, give me a second to share my screen. Thank you, thank you. I'm just providing a real quick, brief overview. I know you guys are jam-packed, so I'm going to try and run through this as quickly as I can. These are the upcoming changes to residential curbside collection. So that's our 3-cart system, and how this is going to affect people who have that 3-cart system. This is different from manual collection where you put your trash bags at the curb. There's no current change to that we're able to publicly speak about, but there will be update to that in the future. Okay. So each year, Oahu households generate about 60,000 tons of food waste. And instead of sending this material to the landfill to create methane and all those other kind of things, we are trying to expand our composting efforts to turn food scraps into a useful resource. This program also is going to help support the city's goal of achieving 95% landfill diversion by 2030. We do a pretty good job at diverting, but food is something that when it goes to H-Power doesn't help us or hurt us. It just kind of sits in there as wet trash. However, if we put it in with compost, it kind of supercharges our ability to make compost and lessens the time from 12 to 24 months to actually 6 months using an Investo GORE method of composting. The main change is that residents will not be able to put their food scraps and wasted food into their green compost carts along with their regular green waste. So as some of you guys know, we did start a pilot program on April 1st, specifically in Waipahu, Nanakuli, Hawaii, Mililani, Kailua, and Kalihi. And those are for households, again, that receive automated curbside collection, the 3 carts. However, we are going to expand island-wide on October 1st. So that's going to include everybody, including this neighborhood. What can go into the green compost bins? The regular stuff you already know. Green waste. That's grass, leaves, branches, hedge trimming, palm fronds, natural Christmas trees. The easy stuff that you can put in, that's food waste, vegetables and fruits. Now, the more things that people have to think about, you can put in dairy products like yogurt and cheese, as long as they're not liquids at room temperature, baked goods, pastas, beans, things that people still are trying to get their heads wrapped around: meat, seafood, poultry, bones, the carcasses, all of that stuff can go in the green bin along with leftovers, spoiled foods, table scraps, and things like that. There are things that we don't want you to put into the green compost bin, and that's why we're here kind of giving information to the larger community. We do not want liquids in our bins at any time, because we can tell who put liquids in from the line that happens from your front door or curbside down the street. As the trucks are compacting the trash, we see the liquid squeeze out and come out. The other things we don't want you to put into the green compost bins are any type of bags: no paper, no plastic. We don't want metal, glass, fats, oils, and grease. We know that there's a lot of things out there that are labeled as compostable, and at the moment, we are not licensed by the Department of Health to take those items. Also, we don't want any kind of pet waste or food waste in there: no dirt, rocks, bricks, plant pots, or anything like that. Participation is really simple. All you got to do is take your food scraps. You can either freeze it or take it as it is, layered it inside of your green compost bin. If you're worried about smells or odors or moisture, you can sprinkle baking soda. That works really well, or use coffee grounds to minimize the smells. Again, no bags at all, no paper, no plastic, and no liners. For those who prefer to drop off materials like food scraps and wasted food, I'm going to be honest, it's a little far from town, but you can take it directly to Hawaiian Earth Recycling, who is the vendor who does the composting for the city and county of Honolulu. They are located in Wahiawa. Our city transfer stations and convenience centers, they will accept green waste, but they will not be accepting food waste. So be aware, if you're going to want to drop off, you can only drop off in Wahiawa. What happens for our food scraps, again, when it goes to Hawaiian Earth Recycling, they kind of specialize in breaking down the organic matter. They're also trained to deal with CRB, or coconut rhinoceros beetle, which has been plaguing a lot of the Oahu, moku, or land divisions out there. And we are very happy with the fact that they are monitoring constantly to make sure that the materials they're making, meaning the compost, is safe for people to use, individuals, landscapers, and other people like that. Okay. For additional information, please feel free to visit our website, honolulu.gov/env/grow. We have a lot of literature and information there. We have videos on our social media posts. We're having public informational workshops about what to do and how to prepare, as well as other things like that. My staff and I, we do go out, and currently we are monitoring in the pilot areas, meaning we're there at 4 in the morning, opening the bins and looking to see if people are participating, what type of contamination or trash they have put in that shouldn't be in there. And we give them feedback in the form of tip cards about how they should be preparing their trash and composting items. The other thing that we have is, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Sorry, guys, I'm trying to rush so fast. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Our phone number is there, 768-3200. You can always email us at opala@honolulu.gov. And we're at a lot of events. So if you ever see us, please feel free to come up to us and ask us any questions or for any hacks that can help you with this coming thing. If you want to participate before October 1st, that's fine too. It's just that we're not monitoring in your areas, but officially it goes island-wide on October 1st. Thank you again, Chair, and everybody else. Have a wonderful night. Any questions?
Thank you very much. Would you mind, I guess, sending our neighborhood assistant the presentation so we can look it over in our free time? I don't see anyone with questions. So thank you so much for the presentation. Have a good night. And I see Robin is on now, so we'll go ahead and circle back really quick to Tyler DeSantos Tam's report.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yep.
Okay, excellent. I put our newsletter in the chat, and we're here for any questions. I heard earlier, I kind of entered while a woman was commenting on possibly dangerous dogs. Is that right?
That is
that the
correct, yes.
Community concerns? Okay, so I entered some information in the chat box again. It's regarding Bill 8. It was recently passed. It's regarding animal nuisances. It's supposed to help with enforcement and avoiding dangerous dog attacks. It's supposed to align with the state ordinance that was recently passed. I put it in the chat for anyone who wants to know. It's increasing civil penalties. It's supposed to help promote responsible dog ownership. It's supposed to help. I hope that's helpful for her. I don't know what her specific concerns were, but yeah, I answered that into the chat. But if anyone has any questions, I'm here.
Thank you very much, Robin, for the posting on the Bill 8. Are there any questions for the council member's office? Seeing none, thank you very much. Okay, moving on to the candidate forum PIG report. Or anyone from the PIG here to make the report? Don't believe so. You haven't met yet. Okay, moving on. Discussion on Makanai Cafe concerns and operations at Makiki Shopping Village. Thank you for bearing with us.
I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Mahina, the owner of Makanai Cafe. We just wanted to come over here and introduce. I see a lot of my beautiful customers here, so lots of familiar faces. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, I will try my best to answer them all.
Sorry, what was your name again?
Mahina. Huamohalu Oko Mahina Nanami Akaka is my name, but you can call me Mahina.
Welcome. So we did have, sorry.
Go for it, Nancy.
Sorry, Nate. Sorry, Chair. We did have reports of activities that were a concern of nearby residents. So, and we want to work together.
Absolutely.
You know, we want to see you thrive, and we want to support our community businesses. But we also have to be mindful of people that got to work early and all of those things. So anyway, we can get in more information from you and find ways that we can curtail any complaints, any loud noises that might be happening at late hours. I know you have special events on the weekends.
Yeah, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights we do wine, cocktails, tapas. It's super mellow. It's kind of just for families to walk down from their homes and grab a glass of wine. We do some really yummy foods, different specials every week. The events happen very, very randomly. We try to partner with a lot of local businesses and a lot of artists from around the neighborhood. And yeah, they're really random. They're honestly not very often. That was kind of just the community showing and supporting for Makanai. That was a really kind of random night, but very random. Thursday, Friday, Saturday nights are usually pretty mellow and just a space for the community to come and walk, grab a glass of wine and head home.
What are your what are your usual hours?
We're open every day from 6:30 a.m. to 3:30. And then Thursday, Fridays, Saturdays, we reopen at 6:30 p.m. and close at 11.
It's not too bad. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
And welcome.
Thank you so much.
And best wishes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Okay, are there any further questions for Mahina?
All right, I'll see you
Are there
with your
any-
coffee.
Yep. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, moving on to the discussion on cleaning canals in Makiki. Is DFM here? No. Okay. All right.
Chair, can I just ask a quick question?
Yes.
If it's just like, if it's not a concern, but a general, just like Makanai, for example, I really like that they joined the community. I really miss Sure Shot, and it's actually a really nice space because I just live right up the road, and if you haven't been there, I'm not part of the business. I'm just a happy coffee customer. You guys should check it out sometime. It's really cool and it's really community based, and I think it's best because of the people that make up of it. So I just wanted to show a little bit of vote of support, and I'm glad that they're here, and I hope the community, takes a chance to get to know them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, thank you very much for bringing that up. I know there are a number of I could see a whole ton of supporters. Are there any, we have some time, are there any others who would like to speak in support of Makanai? Yes.
Aloha Chair, board members. My name is Adam Strubeck, resident of Makiki, also not affiliated with Makanai's business, but just also wanted to voice my support. Been there on multiple occasions. It was very quiet, so appreciate the limited commercial space we have in our community, and happy to have opportunities to live in a more walkable neighborhood and walk to Makanai from Upper Makiki. So again, just wanted to voice my support, and thank you for the opportunity to testify. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adam. Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Monica. I am also a frequent visitor of Makanai, not associated with them. My husband and I probably go like 2 to 3 times a week. We really enjoy it. It's walkable. I think that's our favorite part, is we can just walk there, grab a popsicle in the afternoon or anything. And they're great members of the community, and I hope the community can see that as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And I see online Laura Ruby.
Yes, I have a question. I thought we were moving on to the cleaning canals and
No.
Makiki, not yet.
No.
Yeah, that was my mistake.
Okay, so I should wait for that.
Yes, we'll get
I
there
should
in
wait
a
for that?
second. Thank you, Claire.
Okay, I'll wait for that then.
Okay, Claire.
Oh, thank you, Chair. Welcome to the new coffee place in place of Sure Shot. I've been there and I loved it and it was great. And welcome to the community. I do want to remind everyone that this board doesn't enforce anything, and we are, well, when I was on the board, we are, the board is a liaison to connect, if there are community concerns, to connect them with the correct people in the legislative government to deal with the problems. And hopefully there's not too much. Change upsets people sometimes, but I walk past there every morning and it's a pretty nice place to be. So welcome, and sorry if there are any bumps in the road.
Thank you very much, Claire. Are there any further comments on Makanai? Go ahead.
Aloha mai kākou. My name is Kala Pa'akaula. I live in Kalawahine, and just wanted to also voice my support for Makanai. They've been great members of our community, great neighbors.
Oh, if you don't mind.
Into the mic.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, just wanted to voice my support for Makanai. I'm there pretty frequently in the morning and in their evening times too. It's a great place. It's always run safely and responsibly. Took my dad there for his 72nd birthday. You folks should visit. That's all. Mahalo.
Thank you very much. Okay, are there any further comments before we move on? Claire, did you have an additional remark, or is your hand just still up?
Oh, I'm sorry, I just left my hand up. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Claire. All right, seeing none, thank you very much. They left. But thank you so much for voicing your support for Makanai and presenting as well. Okay, now moving on to cleaning the canals in Makiki. Laura, Ruby, you had a remark.
Yes, I would like a clarification of why you're calling things that are probably channelized streams canals. You're speaking of streams that once were free flowing without concrete around them, and am I correct? That's the assumption. Because they have names, they have Hawaiian names, and it would be really nice to at least acknowledge that those streams actually have names and can be placed back, in the context of what you're talking about. I did it for the Alanayo. That's it is in the Alawai Park area, and it had a terrible name like Houston Ditch, and it now has Alanayo back again, and that could be done. I don't know why they're called canals. Do you have any answers for that?
Well, you alluded to it that they used to be streams, and now they're all concreted up into canals. And just as a catch-all to keep the length of this agenda short, so we don't kill more trees, I opted to take the means of shortening it to just a catch-all canals. And are there any other comments about our canals? Ian?
Thank you very much, Sharon, for putting this on the agenda. As longtime members of the board know, this has been coming up for a while. During my time on the board, I'm happy to share we were able to get, I believe, 1 or 2 other neighboring boards to pass resolutions. As we all know from our Hawaii history, the canals pretty much set the districts in the past, but now they're split. So we do have the Macaulay and Moilili Neighborhood Board, that's one board, also in support of the standing resolution this board has, calling for more cleanups in the area and also more social services. Looking into a bit further, it's a mess of ownership. Many of the adjacent buildings own their half of the canal, with the other adjacent building owning their half of the canal. I don't know quite how many dozens of owners there are, and you can also mix in the city and the state as some of the owners as well. And I think that makes a lot of the enforcement difficult. I have a few brief thoughts on how we can do this. So, the state can just pass a law that's allowed to clean the canals. That might work if it survives judicial scrutiny. Some neighbors clean their portion and then the neighboring portion. But in at least one case, I know a neighbor who got a cease and desist from the adjacent building for having cleaned up overgrowth. So there's a lot of complications on here. Over in Manoa, there was a group called Rapid Albizia Death, and it went neighbor to neighbor and got permission to go through and do a neighborhood cleanup. That's one model. I will note they first asked for permission for 1 year, and they found themselves regretting having to knock on every neighbor's door the following year. So now they do 5 years at a time. That's a potentially community option. Some other options, which might not be liked by the neighbors, but is potentially worth asking, is how they would feel if it were to be eminent domained by the city or the state. And that would enable enforcement of trespassing concerns throughout the whole canal. Because the stream, thank you, Laura. And what I want to add to that idea is there's a third one, which is right now, one of the issues is you see someone trespassing further down the stream, and what happens is it's someone else's property. So are you able to report trespassing? Often not. You might have to have that person, and the person can easily walk to the next portion. So wrapping it up, we could also have agreements between all the property owners that they're mutually allowed to report trespassing. So those are just a few thoughts. I know this is a recurring issue, and it's a complicated issue because you have dozens of owners. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ian. Are there any further comments? Steelquist.
Okay. The streams are generally owned 1/2 and 1/2 to the middle. Other ones, because they're part of a larger estate, they all belong to the same estate, like the Campbell estate or something like that. So it might be worthwhile to have the city and county take over all the streams. They always ask for the money anyway. If they had a responsibility, they might do something about it anyway. So if you get to this one belongs half here and a quarter here, and it's going to be really impossible to get it done. And when you bought the property, you had certain rights that went to it. So anyway, probably larger solutions would be better than smaller solutions.
Thank you, John. Robin.
Robin McCrary. I ran across the lady that the homeless people or the people living underneath the bridge have actually pulled apart and taken a big chunk of the canal itself. So who would be in charge of actually fixing that? Is that city and county?
So that is why we just brought up the issue of
Right.
jurisdiction and who has
But
ownership
I
over
meant
what.
is just the wall that the state has made, or
Again, that's it's very complicated in terms of who has jurisdiction. Is it private? Is it public? Is it state? Is it city? So you'll have to be a lot more specific in terms of where asking who has what jurisdiction.
okay. Then my second question is at 1330 Wilder, on the back side of the canal, this other side of it, they put all these cinder blocks and put plants in it. So now when the water goes high, because of that, we can't do it, because I'd love to go make little planters to get it up and stop the people from walking over it. The water now floods out one of our condos right below and washes out all the way to our laundry room and so forth. So again, who would I talk to? Because we would love to buy the cinder blocks and make it as tall, so at least it's even water and so forth.
Okay, thank you for that. Our neighborhood assistant will take that back and see who that is. Okay, seeing no other comments or concerns. Oh, yes. And then if you could give us your name, please.
I'm Antonina. I actually live near the canal, and when we had floods a few months ago, my concern was what's going to happen if all that I saw like mattresses in there and so much. It's hard. It's scary, and I always look at that and I'm like, why is this like that? I live here. I walk by this canal every day, and then when the water was rising up, I was like, what is going to go on the street and it's going to make everybody sick, including me and my children, I mean, it's literally like near the Punahou. So imagine all this junk, including all the feces, unfortunately, animals and homeless people. So it's a definitely health concern, the canals, and definitely city should pay more attention because it could cause the disaster, literally. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Antonina. Okay. Did you want to make any comments? We have a little bit of time.
Yeah, my name is Winston Sung, and in the last 2 or 3 months, I have created the full service tickets through the HNL, and regarding the encampment under Liho Canal Bridge. And the city, I specified clean everything, and including the encampment and the bag of dirties they piled up, raised 1 to 2 feet, raise the bed, the dirties, so they can put the mattress in up there. But the city, they just come, just take the encampment stuff, but underneath stuff, they not digging the sediment, move them out. So end up the people just come back right away. And I work with the state, since the state they come right from this Monday, is still clean up the canal now. And ask them as the city and state can work together and to remove all the sediment under the bridge. But very interesting, state only take care of the canals, open canal area. Don't clean the stuff under the bridge. And so right now I just created a new ticket, specify canal stream cleanup. Hopefully they will address this issue and instead. But yes, this is the issue. Not only like after the cleaning, they may come back and filling the stuff again. So we needed to do some control, the access control, right? Extending the fence on the side, and also possible and make the underneath uninhabitable, and to build the slow, the 1 to 2 feet high dam, so they can have a shallow water underneath the bridge. So we'll hard to build the encampment. And I saw in the Kalakaua canals, and they do have 1 feet dam. Looks like it's working. I take the picture, so under the bridge is clean. There's water flowing and no encampment. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Thank you very much. Okay. And I will add some final comments. I did see DFM was, or excuse me, DLNR was actually out by Liho and Kewalo. They actually craned and lifted a bulldozer into the canals to clear them out. And so I personally hope that they do this a little bit more frequently, but at least they're doing something. And of course, with the reports of in the valley over, right, with people with warrants hopping into the canals over there and using it to flee to other places before being caught, I am definitely strongly in favor of some form of perhaps, I don't know, some more barriers, if you will, to the folks getting into and under our canals. So certainly I hope DFM will show up. Okay. With that, we'll go ahead and move on to the discussion on traffic safety in wake of hit and run traffic death on Kewalo Street. DTS, I apologize for earlier. You guys, I'm spoiled rotten by you guys showing up in person. So thank you so much for being available online. And you heard the Ochoa family speak earlier. I feel I'll give DTS the opportunity to speak. Assuming they're
Good evening, Chair, board members, and community members. Kelly Akasaki, Transportation Engineering Division Chief at DTS. We did hear the family, and of course, our condolences go out to any family, whether they have a fatality or just an injury. You know, we always take these incidents seriously, and we are currently waiting for speed volumes along Kiwalo Street. I did also hear the lady's concerns about speed limit signs. There should be speed limit signs on Kiwalo, so I will go back and double check with our staff to make sure that if signs are missing, that we send them to DFM to get them put back. She also talked about yielding and speed humps. So our speed study will help us determine, you know, where the speeding is occurring and if speed humps are warranted in that location. Liho, I believe, was not one of the requests that we received recently, so we will add that to our list as well. Other than that, that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for our speed data to come back, and then we can report back to the board.
Hi.
Oh, thank you very much, Kelly. Yes, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Danielle. I spoke to Robin earlier too. I'm with the Ochoa family, and we put in the request for the speed humps and mentioned about the speed limit signs. But Robin also mentioned a good idea would be to put some kind of stop sign at the beginning where the freeway exit is. Not necessarily on the freeway, can't put a stop sign there, but there's another street that cars are sometimes coming off of right by the bridge on Keomoku. So if there would be any way to put maybe a stop sign over there so that people on the freeway do know that they're coming off and to know to slow down, or some kind of flashing lights, something like that, that indicates, you know, they need to slow down.
So Lunalilo Freeway or Lunalilo Street is not our jurisdiction. That falls under the state because it's part of the on-ramp and off-ramp system of the freeways. So just after where Kiwalo starts is our jurisdiction. So we can see what we can do on that. So the stop sign, I think you're asking for the side street that merges into the freeway exit, that all belongs to state DOT. But we can relay that back to them because they are also partners with us.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Robin?
Robin McCreary. I also wanted to add to that. You know how you have the speed of how fast you're going? Could off the freeway, is that not part of your area? Do we need to also work with the state on that one? But put a sign, you're going 50 miles an hour, you should be going 10 or, 25 or something. Anyways.
So we do use those. So we do have a couple on Owaolimu, right when you come down by Lincoln. We usually do it by schools. The hard part is that what we're finding with our products, they don't last more than 5 years. Either the geckos get into it and they either lay their eggs or they make homes in there, and then the actual sensors themselves, they don't work as well. So like the one coming town bound on Owaolimu doesn't work. We have to get them replaced all the time. However, the one going into Nu'uanu does work. So we have a hard issue with keeping the maintenance of them. And then what we do find is that because they're not a physical barrier in the road, they don't really help us to control speeding. In fact, some of the kids, they want to see how fast they go, so they try to drive faster. So we haven't been installing them as much as we did when they first came out. One, because the product itself is not being able to be maintained. And then secondly, our speed data don't change. So which is why we're moving to more speed humps, something physical in the roadway, where cars actually have to slow down to when they hit the humps. Yeah. So that's what we're looking at more vertical things in the roadway.
Kelly, I have one other question. How well do the strips that you go to over it? Rumble strips.
So the rumble strips, they're very noisy. So we don't do them in any areas that have residential homes.
Okay.
In fact, the DOT has put them, at the Pali exit. They also have them on the Kinao exit. And if you notice on the Kinao exit, they have been removed. They make a lot of noise, especially at night, 2 o'clock in the morning when it's quiet. Every single car that goes by, it does echo. So we don't like to do them where there's any residentials, apartment buildings, where people live, and it could disrupt them, especially late at night.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you, Robin. Ian.
Thank you, Chair. I just have a quick question for Rob. Sorry, not Robin. Sorry, for DTS. So here's my question for you. I understand you're working on the study. Thank you very much. I think everyone here appreciates data. And it seems like you were saying that is to see if it's warranted to put speed humps. Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, correct. So we don't put speed humps just because someone asks for them. Currently, what we're doing is we're asking the state to help us because they have an IDIQ project, which means they can go around and put asphalt down with signing and striping, pretty quickly compared to the city, where if I were to do it, it would take me realistically 2 to 3 years. So
Okay.
for one, it's the quickness of it. Second, it's the funding. So right now, city's priority is only by schools. So if you notice the ones that are going in, it's mostly by a school that we know has pretty routine speeding. So Kiwalo Street, I don't have any speed data prior to the incident, which is why I have to request it. So I don't know if speeding was happening before. But we do have a study out there. We will connect data, and then once the data comes back, we will share it with the community.
So I
Does
think
that
the
answer
data
your
is
question?
the first part of my question, yes. So the second part is what sort of data gives you the authorization to do it? And is it that you need a certain benchmark in order to be able to do this? Or is it that you have the data and then there's a sort of discussion about if it warrants it? Like, is there a hard rule or is it more of a soft rule?
So right now we have a hard rule. When the data comes back, we take data for 24 hours. And it's usually on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, just a general day in the week. It depends where we're at. If we're by a mall or like a beach generator, then we'll request it on the weekends. But it's a 24-hour data, and what we use is called the 85th percentile. And what that tells us is the average speed that cars go. And if the average speed is, say, 7 or 8 miles over the speed limit, then that's what we use to trigger speed humps. But if the speed limit, the 85th percentile, is somewhere near the 25 miles per hour, then it generally doesn't meet our criteria, and then we would not recommend speed humps for that street.
Thank you. And I got one more half question, if everyone will indulge me. I'm a little bit concerned that the speed data will not fully capture the dangerousness of the situation. We already heard here about the loss of life. We hear stories about near misses really regularly. And I think one of the things that the data might not capture is the fact that people park all along the side of the street. And this means that if people poke their head out, they're essentially taking their lives into their hands when there are speeders. So I think the lack of visibility, some of the other circumstances of this particular road should be taken into account during this consideration. And that's just my final point. Thank you so much.
Sure. So we can do things for the to help regulate the parking in the areas. We can put up no parking signs if a resident manager or if residential homes want to send us a petition that they want, parking restricted in their area fronting their homes. We can do that too. So we'll work with the neighborhood board to try and address those concerns as well. But again, for the traffic code, even for speed limit, even for like no parking, by crosswalks, by traffic signals, by fire hydrants, by driveways, all of those don't require any signs, and parking is so, I guess it's kind of a free-for-all here without all those signs there. They will just park anywhere that they can squeeze into. So we have a hard time with that as well. And we don't want to put up signs for every single driveway, but if the community is requesting it and the strong consensus agrees to it, we would do that as well.
Okay, thank you, Ian. Are there any other comments before we come back to Robin? Chuck.
Yeah, Kelly, I'm familiar with the area, but I don't go there too much at night. But how is the lighting there?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's another thing that
No.
probably could be considered too.
So we can send that to our partners at DDC. So Department of Design and Construction actually maintain the city street lights in the area, and they can do a check to see maybe some lights are out, maybe some lights are dimmer than what they should be, and we can ask them to check on all of that as well.
Okay, Robin.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were the DTS. So my question, I don't know if you heard earlier on Magazine Street and Prospect. Did you hear that story, Kelly?
Yes, so we are also looking into that. So what we're doing is we're trying to gather the crash data from HPD to see what's going on and where they're coming from. We are aware of the car that flipped into the home at the area. The hard part is that area is so odd because of the two side streets that come up. We always get requests for either a roundabout or a beanabout or a oblong about. But because of the intersection and the way that the geometrics are for the two streets that come up towards Prospect, it's really hard for us to design some kind of median or circle to kind of help slow them down. But we are still looking at it, and we are aware of the crashes that are happening there.
Okay, and also just to putting in that island, whatever shape it is, it would allow people to do crosswalks also, because right now it's, I mean, you could put a whole house in that whole area. It's that huge. And so I'm just trying to figure out ways that we could actually make this happen so they stop crashing and speeding. And I also thought about on Prospect towards the mountain, right before the crosswalk is put a stop sign there to let people stop instead of racing right through.
So we can look into all of that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, go ahead. If you could give us your name, please.
I'm Eddie Ochoa. My son is the one that got ran over. There was no cameras that caught the license of the car. There's none. And I'm asking, is there a way that you guys can put a camera on the beginning on Wilder facing Kowalo and at the end facing Kowalo at the end? Because you know, it's kind of hard. My son, somebody killed him, and I can't. We can't find them. I don't. You know, I want him to be able to face what he did to my son, and it's all fresh. So forgive us for being emotional. If that's something that you guys could do.
So unfortunately, it's not something that DTS can do. Right now, the current cameras that are on the traffic signals are passed by legislature. They determine the number of cameras and at which intersections. So I believe there's only 10 that we're currently in for running the red lights and for speeding, and there are 10 more that are going in. But the legislature themselves determine where the signals, the cameras go and which intersection. So that is not in my control as for a signal. But once the legislature passes it, then we can help with the installation of the cameras. It has to be at a signalized intersection.
Kelly, I would add,
Thank you,
I think
Eddie.
there's also some constitutional issues about retaining footage, right, for more than a certain period of time because of privacy issues. So we'd have to look into that as well.
Thank you, Renee. Is it relevant? Okay, yes, go ahead, Ian.
So I thought ahead and I went ahead and reached out about that question. What I had heard from the governor's representative, he emailed me just before this meeting, was that if the person had been speeding, that does go to HPD. So they would have on file, this car was speeding at this time. So the constitutional issue notwithstanding, the evidence that the person ran the red light or was speeding would still be accessible according to the governor's representative. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ian. Claire.
I'm having mouse issues tonight, so sorry. Hi, Kelly. Thank you, Chair. Kelly, they're still trying to run us over in the five-way intersection, but hearing what I'm hearing tonight from the Ochoas, and we know we lost a person at my intersection and we lost the young lady at McKinley, are we having a higher percentage of pedestrian injuries and fatalities in this Punchbowl-Makiki area? Do we need to really focus on something here?
So it's hard to say if we have a high number of fatalities. The one in your intersection was several years ago, and of course the Ochoa one was just recently earlier this year. Last year alone was astronomical on numbers. Just the number of fatalities was double anything we've ever seen. Average on state or Oahu is about 52 fatalities a year. And we were up to, I believe, 80 something last year. So 52 even is too much for us. 52 is one a week. That's one a week for the whole year. We are at 20 now. The young girl on Public Highway is 20 for today. So it depends on what the situations are. We look at every case. So every fatality that comes to us, we do research, we look up the crash report, we try and see if we have any signs that are missing out there. If any signs were knocked down, we do speed studies. So anytime there is a fatality or even an injury or any crash that is brought to our attention, we will do the study in the background to make sure that all the signage and striping and everything is out there and that it needs to be out there. The hard part is that we're not aware of all of them until they reach the news or until we know there's a fatality. So some of these even serious crashes, if it's not reported anywhere, we might not know about it until an actual request comes in, and then we have to check HPD records to find what happened. But anytime we hear about it, we do look into each case specifically. Good news for your Always Stop. Renee has got the flashing signs and it has already gone out to bid. We just need to have them order the parts and schedule a date for installation. So you can thank Renee for that. She does have the 2 flashing stop signs for the 5-way stop at Prospect.
Oh, gee, I might want to come down and see what they look like. And how are we doing on moving that stop sign forward? And
yes, so the work order, the work order is in, all the striping has been done. I believe I sent a copy to Dos Santos Tam's office. If you need one, Claire, I will send it to you. And it has the work order number on there that went to DFM. I'll
please,
send you
'cause
an email
I'll-
tomorrow.
Okay,
Sure.
because I'll
It's
report
been
it to
completed.
my community board meeting, so everyone has hope. We're still almost getting run over as pedestrians, so we still want to figure out a fix for that. They just don't pay attention. They're just zooming through, particularly the east-west direction. But I appreciate what you're doing and what Renee is doing. I think we need to say that because we're making a lot of demands of you, and I thank you for paying attention and helping us fix this problem. Okay. Thank you,
Claire.
Kelly and Renee. Thank you, Chair.
Actually, the fellow that just sat down, I believe you were waiting to speak. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Hi everyone, I'm Daniel. I'm the brother of Cruz, the guy that got hit. I just want to give like my personal testimony and things that I've seen.
Can't hear.
Oh, sorry. I know on Kewalo they're coming right off the freeway, and a lot of people are still in like the freeway driving mindset. So when they get on that street, they might slow down a bit, but then they'll start speeding back up. It's like the first street they get on when they're off the freeway, and we're just trying to look for a speed hump or something to be put in that place. From my personal experience at my brother's memorial that we set up there, I've seen people like scared to cross the street and people speeding down that street. I almost got hit a couple times. I also want to ask for the camera in the area, especially since I know there's lots of criminal activity. I know there's a halfway house, I think, on the other side of Kewalo, and especially with the new bar opening up, it might be a good idea to add the camera, and with like Ubers coming in the area and stuff. And yeah, that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. Yep.
Winston Sung, and since we talk about the traffic, Kelly, can you look at the round top driver? And there's a the round top driver and come down from the tourist spot area. And there's quite a lot of accident in the past 2 years. Yeah, always here when the car come down really fast, and then there's a bigger turn and they cannot get it, and always hit our neighbors' retaining walls. This wall is rebuilt many times. So there's any way look at the area and put the bumper too over there?
So we probably won't put a bump because of the curves and the sight distance, as well as the grades coming down from Round Top. Can you give me an address for where we can look at specifically? Round Top Tantalus is like the whole street that goes all the way from one end to the other.
Yes, I
So
can
you
give you
me-
the area.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Richard? Oh, I'm sorry, Richard. I see Laura, you've had your hand up. My apologies, Laura.
Yes, very quickly, just in my neighborhood, I have requested to DTS that 2 raised crosswalks be put in for Cohio School and Alawai School. It was rejected. They said, I don't know, it didn't meet the criteria. I asked Roger Morton, could he please look into that? And he did not respond. But these are speed throughs. They're stop signs, and putting in a speed bump would certainly slow it down. The kids go across all the time to get to the school, and kids and parents and all. And these are just the speed through is not going to change. These people are going someplace fast, and it's a shortcut. And they're small streets, and I'd really appreciate it if you could do something to do the speed bumps there. It's already been. I've already done it several different times, and nothing has happened.
This is Alawai Elementary, so the downside of University.
Okay, corner of University and Evi.
Yeah.
And
so
the other,
we are working with the school. So we are going to do median and crosswalk improvements for the school there. We did meet with them
that's
maybe
that's
a
the
couple weeks
middle.
ago.
That's the middle of the street, but it's the corner where the people speed around the corner without going to the full stop. And then although at Cohio School, they do not regard it at all, run right through the stop sign, and a speed bump would stop that also. That's about 901 Waiaka. It's where Waiaka and Kuilei join.
I'll look at the Waiaka one. I'm not sure about that one for the Cohio School, but for the intersection at University as well, we are also proposing bulb outs and other striping with delineators to help them for that corner as well. So we did meet with the school a few weeks ago, and we are proposing stuff for the whole stretch. The hard part is that roadway, other than in the morning and after school, we don't have much volume. Even though Iolani is right there, it's in the morning when there's traffic, they're going
the parents are clogging the streets.
Correct. Yeah, so you
but-
have
but they
volume
do-
only because of the schools, but because it's congested, they're not speeding. They're just parked and driving,
Well,
in the
they
area.
do speed.
Okay, Laura, I'm going to cut you off
Okay, that's
there.
okay. I'm fine. Yeah, that's fine.
I would like to return the conversation back to the focus on Kewalo Street and Liho Liho. Thank you. Yep, if you could go ahead.
Yeah, I just have one more thing to take into consideration regarding the speed humps on Kewalo Street. I'm not too sure what the distance is to be like considered a school district, but I do know that Queen Kahumanu is right down the road, and there's Roosevelt and Punahou too on Wilder. So I do know that it is a very highly residential area, and there are a lot of kids and children that cross over there. I see them come home from school every single day. So I think that is something to take into consideration too when you guys are talking about the speed humps, not just the speed data, but also just the safety of the pedestrians and the children and everyone else in the community.
We'll take that into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I guess I have a follow-up question to the speed study. How soon will that be finished?
Let me go back and check with our survey crew. There is only one crew that does surveys around the whole island, so I will go back and double check. Yes, so it's a kind of newer request. We have requests that we have been waiting for, 4 to 6 months, and that's the kind of timeline that we've been giving. So I will go back and double check, and I'll get you some kind of timeline for that.
Okay, thank you very much, Kelly. Richard.
Thank you, Chair, Board, community members, and Kelly. I think in February or March of this year, I inquired about the striping that went on right alongside Lincoln and Stevenson schools. And like the chair said, I'd like to know how far has the investigation progressed so that we can understand that you guys are still looking at and evaluating those stripings that went in that affect us more so during the school year. And right now we're in the summer break. So I was just wondering how far you got along with that one too. Thank you.
So I believe Renee came to, I want to say, the April Neighborhood Board, and we have been out there several times, especially in the morning, to observe traffic and see what is going on. We do want to make modifications, especially near Lincoln, where it can be a little confusing and some drivers drive over the hatched area and some kind of squeeze to make it into 2 lanes still yet. So we are still trying to modify the overall striping plan, and then we will send that over to DFM so that they can work on that as well. So we are still looking at it, but we are aware. We have done our observations, and I think we kind of understand what the issues are.
Thank you very much, Richard and Kelly. Yes.
I have new information right now. As we are waiting for the study to come, one of the person that was sitting here with the wheelchair, they just reported right now that they almost got hit at the same street, Kewalu. She's just turning in right now. So this is how we're feeling right now, that the more we wait for this, the more people are gonna die. And we really don't want anything like this happen to another family. We just got the text right now.
Yep. Thank you very much. Okay, Richard.
This question is to you again, Kelly. Oh, shucks. I forgot. Oh yeah, I got it. And in this discussion, will the community be involved?
Yes, yes. So once we complete, you're talking about Awaiolimu?
Yes, sorry.
Yes. So once we revise it, we will come to neighborhood board and community, and we will present it first before we make the changes and modifications.
Thank you, Kelly.
Yes.
Thank you, Richard. Yes, Nancy.
Hi, Kelly. Hello.
Yeah.
Hi. Yeah. Okay. Hi. So real quickly, there's a lot on this subject, but I'm just going to skip over to Beretania and King, if that's possible, and ask about the speed studies you're talking about. Which areas are those?
So the speed study specifically that I am talking about is Kewalu Street. So we've had complaints or concerns that came into our office from council members as well as the public after the incident that happened. And our specific study that I'm talking about, that I'm waiting for, is on Kewalu Street itself.
Okay. Do you have anything going on for King, Beretania, and Young?
I will let Renee jump into that because she is.
Because as you know, that's been
Yes.
an ongoing problem. So we really need to figure out, speed deterrents for those streets. And it's a long discussion, but I'll leave it there.
So as we shared, sorry, this is Renee SBO, Complete Streets Program. As we've shared previously, we do have a federal planning study that we began, I want to say around the beginning of the year, for 7 of our highest injury streets on Oahu. They happen to be all in town. Someone asked if there's a preponderance of crashes and fatalities in Makiki district. Honestly, we find them less by neighborhood and more by street type. Not surprisingly, our big roads are where most of the crashes, fatal and serious injury crashes happen. So the study covers King Street, Beretania Street, Young, Kapi'olani, Kaheka, Pi'ikoi, and Wilder Avenue. We have been doing data collection for the kind of beginning part of the year and starting to look at some potential design concepts to share with the community. We were planning to have 2 sets of community meetings, kind of one more Mauka, sort of like Wilder, Pi'ikoi, King, Baratania, and then another set of meetings, a little more Makai, like around Kapi'olani, Kaheka, Lower Pi'ikoi. But our Department of Facility Maintenance actually has a paving project coming up on Wilder Avenue. So we're going to be advancing the community conversations on Wilder. We're looking at potentially having a community meeting in August. We haven't set a date yet. Of course, that's coming up quickly. So we will set that up so that we can make sure we talk to the community and take advantage of the paving opportunity so we can restripe the road in a safer manner. But that little bit aside, we are still planning to have a community meeting this calendar year to share some potential design changes for King, Baratania, and Young, and of course Makiki Neighborhood Board. We'll let you guys know about that well in advance. We hope you guys can participate. I honestly was a little surprised to see we didn't have a ton of speed data on some of the big corridors. So that's something that I'm pushing for us to get in advance of those conversations so we can talk about traffic calming features, not just changes to the cross section of the road. So we know that those corridors need attention. There's some stuff we can do with striping changes, but some of the big corridors, to be honest, we probably will need some signal upgrades, and those take longer to implement. So we're looking at kind of all different ways that we can make safety improvements to these larger roads.
Awesome, wonderful. There's a right near me between Keomoku and Pi'ikoi, there's an area where a lot of people cross King Street, and there's too many near misses, and I've seen people get hurt. So they took out a crosswalk when they repaved over there and restriped. Who do we contact to have that addressed and reviewed and addressed?
We can certainly do it through the study. I'm aware that there were a number of uncontrolled crosswalks removed. I do think we have count data for some of those. The big challenge for us is, unfortunately, to meet, our own guidelines, federal guidelines. You typically need something like a traffic signal, for pedestrians to cross that many number of lanes, which isn't going to be warranted at those locations. But if we can look at, maybe having one less travel lane and some other, kind of larger roadway changes, then it expands our toolbox for how we can have safe crossings without traffic signals. So please make note of which of those crossings, the community is missing the most. And we can certainly look if there's a way for us to design the road safely enough to put some of those back, especially where there's a long distance between signals.
Okay, so I can get your email from the NCO and just send you a picture of the area, or
I can put my email in the chat, and then you can just send us the locations of particular concern, and then we'll take a look at that as we kind of prepare the concepts for public feedback. I will say Baratania is going to be up for paving. As you guys probably know, King Street just got paved. So Baratania will be up next. So we've been focused a little more on Wilder and Baratania right now, because those are a little more near-term opportunities. But King Street, certainly we are developing plans for as well.
Wonderful, thank you. And thank you for the green striping in the bike lane. It makes a lot more sense to have it in front of
In
the
the interest
driveway.
of time,
Thank
I'm
you.
going to cut you off, Nancy. Thank you very much. As we put this on the agenda for the Ochoa family, we're running out of time, so I'll offer them this last chance to make any final remarks. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, and DTS, thank you so much for really hashing this out with us. And I believe we'll have on the agenda next time a resolution regarding this issue. So hopefully you'll be able to make that one as well. Okay, moving on to, and thank you again so much, DTS, for showing up, and thank you again, Ochoa, for making it. Okay, board and community reports. Harris has nothing to report for the Nice Neighborhoods Committee. Adam is not here to make any reports for the Oahu Metropolitan Planning Organization. So, moving on to board announcements. The next regular meeting, the Makiki-Lower Punchbowl-Tantalus Neighborhood Board number 10 is scheduled to meet on Thursday, July 16, 2026 at 6 p.m. at Makiki District Park, the Old Makiki Community Library, second floor, and online via WebEx. Meetings can be viewed on Olelo Focus 49 on the first Friday at 9 p.m. and the third Sunday at 3 p.m. At olelo.org/tune-in. Follow us at www.facebook.com/MakikiNB and visit www.8.honolulu.gov/NCO/NB10 for Makiki Neighborhood Board info. And we'll go ahead and adjourn at 8:16.